What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode of Dub Jellison Podcast. Today, I got a very special Robert Jones is joining me. What's up, brother? How are you?
Doing really good. How are you doing, Debbie?
I'm hanging in there. We're getting to the home stretch of this whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
With the economy starting to open up a little bit, the social distancing starting to loosen. How have you been dealing with this whole situation?
I mean, it's in a weird way, it's kind of worked out pretty good for me. I mean, I just stay home. I record my content while I'm here, and I really don't have to go anywhere. I like to go on drives, so occasionally I'll leave the house and go like somewhere just to drive. But it's really not that bad. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm more of a person that likes to stay inside anyway, so it hasn't been like a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
But your brother is out there on the front lines, though. How's he holding up?
He's doing good. He's he's a CNA, so he has to work with, the people that have this. And so he wears like a full like protective suit and all that kind of stuff when he goes to work. But it's going pretty good for him. It's not he hasn't caught it, so it's all fine.
Yeah, that's good. I was kind of scared for a minute. So I thought that he might, when everything was getting going, I thought that he might catch it when I saw him working with those people. But it's good that he hasn't caught it yet. Hopefully he doesn't. Yeah. And, he is in a good situation, though, where his immune system is built up. He works out all the time, so he's in good health. So it shouldn't be a huge issue if he got it is a big issue, but as opposed to someone who's older and has immunity issues. Yeah, but I've told Riley numerous occasions about how much respect I have for the both of you. You guys just grind, and it's like no matter what you're doing. Like for you, it's your YouTube channel, GentStyle's. Shout out to them. That will be linked in the description after the video. But and then him with, you guys are just dedicated to what you do.
Yeah, it's I think it's kind of, I just, it's always been expected of me to, try hard on things that I do. And so I'm used to it. I love, what I do. I love making my YouTube videos. I love, interacting with people and creating content. So it's really, nothing to me is to work hard on something, but I'm just motivated by that, and I want to be successful. So that's also a big factor that motivates me.
Mm-hmm. And we briefly talked about this before, so that we could talk about it. You had an incident when you were young with your parents, kind of shaped the man you are today. Can you just elaborate and tell that story?
Yeah. So basically when I was 5 or 6 years old, I lost both of my parents in a murder-suicide. And that at the time it affected us in so many different ways. And, that had scars and that impacted us, but that also made us want to be the best way that we possibly could be. And so that's been the primary motivation.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys used that to make you guys stronger? Do you think about that often? That makes that kind of fuels you?
Yeah, I never wanted to be in that kind of situation, and so I just want to live life. I want to grow old and be successful. That's really been the things. Like my parents didn't get the chance to do that, but that's something that I'd like to do, is to be able to, live a very long time, do a bunch of different things, accomplish a bunch of different things, and become successful.
Mm-hmm. I think a big thing about when something happens like such as that, or for example, my dad, he had his biological father basically gave him up to my grandma, and he doesn't really know anything about his biological father, but he knows that he was very abusive. My great grandfather was abusive to my great grandma. And then my grandma's second husband was very abusive to her, and it all kind of stemmed from alcoholism. And
Mm-hmm.
so my dad's, he's a police officer. He's a lieutenant at Carmel. He's about as straight edge as you can get. So I think it can go both ways when people deal with tragedies or any type of adversity, honestly. But how did you guys pick the positive path per se, as opposed to letting that affect you negatively?
That's a great question. So, excuse me. I how do I put this? I saw what that situation did to my entire family, and so that was a big thing. It's like I don't want to do something that's going to negatively affect everybody in the way that did, and so that's been the main guiding factor for me trying to be something is the people around you. If you do something like that, or you become a negative person, those are the things that really affect the other people around you. And so that's what I think about the most, because like up to this point, so many people have invested in us, teachers, our grandparents, um, friends, just a bunch of people have, invested in us and made sure that we had things that we needed to be successful. And so that's been a really big thing that I focus on. Is basically, in a nutshell, I just want to, um, show those people that yes, it was worth spending the time dealing with this guy. That's basically what motivates me.
Hmm. I think it's interesting that you look at it that way, like trying to prove the people that backed you guys up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of people, especially if your YouTube channel is growing a lot more, and I think when people start to get that little bit of success, they forget that. And I think that that's good that you keep remembering those people that have always stood by you. And I think you're the guy that when you have 1 million followers down the road or 1 million subscribers, that you're still gonna call those people and make sure they're doing all right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think it makes sense to forget about all the people that helped you get to where you were. I think that's just not a good thing to do, is to forget people. So that's something that, as I do grow more and more, that's something that I'm going to be still remaining vigilant about is, okay, well, if I have more resources, then I can help more people. And so, um, yeah.
Hmm. So, obviously, my adversity is not as it's not as large as you're in Ryland's, but I mean, I think one of the big things about how successful you are is that you can take any situation and turn it into a positive somehow. I think that's just the type of guy you are,
Thank
and
you.
I think that like for me, when I was, it's not even that big a deal, but I had a long bout with depression and mental illness my freshman year of college, and it really impacted me. And I failed 4 of the 5 classes I took my freshman year, or like the first semester freshman year. I got a D in the other one, and then I started looking at a bunch of different people that are successful. I looked at you. I looked at people like Joe Rogan and just listened to what they said, and it really helped me just overcome the situations that I've been through,
Hmm.
or that I really put myself in with the academic situation. But I use that to make me stronger. And people like you are a huge inspiration to me.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted to say, and you brought up something really good. I think a lot of situations I see people get in is, usually it's stuff that they bring kind of to themselves. And so what I try to do is I try to always keep a positive frame of mind, because that um, keeps me, that keeps me sane. And so um, not, overthinking things or stressing out about things. That's really been one of the things that's always helped me out.
What types of things do you do to like relieve stress?
So honestly, because I never really get stressed out. So like what I do when I'm not making videos, like I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm just like I'm like everybody else. I love to absorb content, videos, all that kind of stuff. So I watch a bunch of those. I play video games. That's something I like to do. Um,
Mm.
and so those things usually keep me pretty occupied when I'm not. And then I also have like a bass guitar over here. I play that every once in a while. But I'm a really like hobby driven person. I like to find new things and then just like try them out. And if I'm good at them, then it's like, hey, okay, that's another thing I can add to my repertoire. But um, yeah, just those are really things. I just try to do things keep me occupied.
Hmm. I think that's a really important thing that not a lot of people do is, I mean, you're a great example. If you're stressed out in even a little bit, if you have a guitar that you are trying to learn how to play, or the piano, or you're trying to reach fitness goals, or anything like that, I think that that'll keep you focused, and I think that's why you're going to be so successful. I mean, you're successful now, and you're going to continue to grow and be successful because you constantly want to get better in any aspect of life. It doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah, literally, like when I think of things that have stressed me out, um, the only thing really in my life that's ever stressed me out has probably been school. I've never really been a good student. I've never liked school, and that's just always been the only thing that's really ever stressed me out. But it seems like since I've gotten in college, things have kind of turned around, and I'm doing a lot better. I, excuse me, had to I switched my major like last year or the year before, one of the two, and that even though it added a year onto my school, I just feel like switching from business to visual communications was a better move based upon the things that I do now, because now my actual classes are like photo editing, video editing, design, graphic design, those kind of classes. And so I'm actually learning stuff that's applicable to what I'm doing right now at the moment.
Hmm. Um, so why did you start with business?
So as a as a teenager and kid, I've always wanted to be some sort of entrepreneur. And so I said, well, maybe I should just go to school and learn business. And I got in there, and one of the teachers, she was talking about like what's it called? It's on the tip of my tongue. In a business management class, she was basically saying, "Have you ever worked for a boss that you really didn't like?" And then we all shook our head like, "Yeah." And so basically, I'm in this class, and it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It's a bunch of fluff. It's a bunch of soft things that people already know with common sense. And so felt like I was wasting my time. And that's why I wanted to switch.
Hmm. That's interesting. Um, I also so I'm in mass communication, so it's kind of the same
Yeah.
thing, but at do it's more like I think there's just a little bit of more added things, like you write a little more as opposed to just doing video and
Yeah.
everything, things of that nature. But I came into Purdue my freshman year. I applied. Um, I think I applied through to be a teacher, to become a
Mm-hmm.
teacher, like a social studies teacher. But that was just so I could get in easier because I wanted to do athletic training, and that was fairly hard to get into. And I was like, I don't know if I can get in, so I
Mm-hmm.
did that. And then, I mean, obviously my first semester kind of screwed that up. And then they basically cut the program, so they stopped admitting kids this past fall,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna make it like a professional degree. So you'd get like a master's degree. I don't know how it works, but they weren't accepting anyone until like 2022. I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't do that. So then I, I mean, luckily I started this podcast, and it's kind of been my passion ever since then. And I really love what I'm doing now. I'm taking they just introduced a podcasting class at Purdue,
Hmm.
and I'm taking that, and that's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in high school, I had a podcast. Me and my friend Jack, we had made a podcast in the innovations class, which is like a class where you go in there, you get to work on different things that fit your interests. And so the thing that we came up with was a podcast. And so we did that for a few years. And that was really sort of like my introduction to like videos and audio and all this kind of stuff. And so it's really just led to, me doing a bunch of different things. And I like what you're doing. I like the fact that you're podcasting. It's fun. I mean, honestly, I'm considering jumping back into it and making some sort of like style podcast or whatever. So I just love it. It's really fun. And it's a great way to express your your feelings and all that kind of stuff.
It's a great way to express your feelings, but I mean, I kind of modeled mine after the Joe Rogan experience. I don't know if you've watched that before. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
But so like he'll have his friends on. So I've had all my best friends on, and then he'll talk to experts in a specific field. So the last one I put out was or when this by the time this comes out, it'll be a week ago. It was with Dr. Jennifer Misa talk about the COVID pandemic. And
Yeah.
it was like a more of an interview.
I saw your one with Ryan. That was a good podcast. Yeah.
I like doing one. He's been on 3, I think. Yeah, he was on the first one, 10th one, and then we just did one a couple weeks ago. But I do that, and then I also had on a diabetic MMA fighter. I got to interview him, and I'm also diabetic, so that was really cool. And I got some good interview ones kind of lined up, but I also like doing these where it's like a long form conversation. And I think that's the beauty of podcasting. It's an art form, in my opinion. So you can do so many different things and express yourself, give other people a platform. You can do so many different things with it.
Yeah.
I think you should do one.
Yeah. I'll probably jump into it. Yeah, I probably will eventually.
So I mean, reason I wanted to have you on was talk about GentStyle. I haven't really talked about that yet. So just for people that don't know, just explain your channel, what types of things you do, what it's called.
Yeah. So thanks. It's GentStyle, and basically what we do is I release YouTube videos. They're affordable style content. So basically, I discuss different aspects, different things like style, how to dress, how to look presentable, what to wear to certain occasions. And so that's basically, excuse me, that's basically the general premise of the podcast, or not the podcast, of the YouTube channel. We have like 1,000 subscribers. I have over 100 videos, over I think 140,000 views. So it's growing every day, and I really love it.
What was your inspiration to start this?
So I'd always watched excuse me, I have allergies, and so I cough all the time during this. And it's kind of funny because people, they think, oh, you're coughing, you have COVID. But I basically was motivated to start this by watching other men's style YouTubers, and they basically release good content, but all their stuff was too expensive. They would talk about products that were too expensive. And so I wanted to do something that most guys could afford. Like if I'm doing a video and I'm talking about, well, this is a $60 bottle of cologne, but if I'm talking about a $60 bottle of cologne, most guys aren't going to want to pay this much money for a good cologne. And so, basically I said, well, all the stuff I'm going to talk about, it's got to be affordable. It's got to be mostly thrifted. And so that's been the primary focus, is releasing content that's about affordable style, teaching guys how to tailor. That's another thing that I like to make videos on. But I really love it. It's really fun, and it's a passion of mine.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really cool that you're doing that. Because obviously when you started, I mean, we're all young. We're all both of us are similar in age. When you started, a lot of your audience was gonna be high school kids or college kids that don't have a lot of money. That, I mean, if they want a new shirt or something, they just run to Goodwill and try to get something there. So I think it's really cool that you tried to give advice to people who don't
need it,
have the money to pursue.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because that's like the wide majority of people.
Yeah. So my thing is, and I basically say it in almost every video, you can find a bunch of really nice, affordable clothing if you know where to look, if you know what to look for. Those are the big things that I try to teach.
Mm-hmm. So how have you gone about creating content during this quarantine period?
So I have a studio in my basement, and so really nothing has changed. I just get to put out more content. Like this coming up week, Monday through Friday, I'm going to put out 5 videos, one every day of the week. So it's just giving me more time to release more content, and then I get to take a little bit more time to make sure that it's edited better. But yeah, it really hasn't changed the outlook on my business or what I do. So,
mm-hmm. I was interested to ask you this. How do you releasing enough content but not too much? Because I've had conversations with people, with Will Weisbrod, who I've had on the podcast a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna he has a YouTube channel about cars. It's called ZLL. I'll put that in the description too. And we're doing a joint thing. I mean, we're just gonna help each other film and do podcasts and things like that. And we're trying to figure out what our schedule should be for how much we release content. So how do you go about out videos?
So that's an amazing question. I went to a conference that had a bunch of the other bigger men's style YouTubers, and it's really interesting because some of them said, they said things like, okay, well, if it's going to hurt the quality of your content, only release 1 or 2 a week. And I'm like, that's not a lot. And then other people were saying, oh, you got to release 7 videos a week, to keep them interested, because they're going to go look at other stuff. So you got to keep them interested. Then other people said, well, just do 3 a week. And so I guess it really all depends. I've been growing by doing 3 a week for the last couple of months, but I'm going to give a try with 5 just to see, what people think. But I feel like the more the merrier. I feel like if you can keep putting out high quality content, then it's really not going to hurt your overall thing. People are still going to watch it. People are still going to like it, and it's going to give more people more things that they could discover.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's different for everything. So like I think you should put out more content, just in my opinion, but what do I know? And then I need to make mine kind of scheduled. So my plan is for right now to do Mondays and Fridays. I might switch that up. I don't know. And then I had a conversation with my friend Zach Torrance last night. He's starting to make music, and he was like, well, yeah, I think I'm going to put this song out next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with him to try to get a new intro song. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to put this song out next. And I was like, put out everything. Screw it. Why not? And he goes, no, because then I'm just going to overload people. So people have different perspectives about it.
Yeah.
But I think have like if you do the same thing week after week after week after week, I think that people will follow.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I try to at least switch it up. Like I try not to make the very similar videos, every week. I try to switch it up, but I like to do a review every week. I like to do a how to style something every week. And then I like to throw in a couple of other different odd topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's the beautiful thing about YouTube and what we do is you can do so many different things with your YouTube channel, and I can
Yeah.
do so many different things with my podcast, like I alluded to earlier. Like, I mean, I get a chance to talk to a fellow YouTuber. I got a chance to talk to a pro MMA fighter last week, a doctor that has been studying medicine for 20 years and used to teach at Northwestern. I mean, you can do so many different things, and that'll just bring in more people, more and more people.
Yep. I totally agree.
So, you sent that email that you got to me the other day. What, you want to share that with the people?
Yeah, so that was an interesting experience. I basically got my first like serious hate mail. This guy from Ohio sent me a thing through the website, and he was just saying a bunch of wild stuff and just trying to like hurt me. And I posted it everywhere just so people could see like what you go through if you're a creator and you're actually doing good, because I feel like if you're not really doing good until you have your first like hater. If you have people that are consistently starting to hate you, then you're doing something right. And so that's been something that I've been experiencing since I hit 1,000. Is every video there's at least 4 or 5 dislikes versus before I just have like 50 likes on the video and no dislikes or whatever. So that's been something interesting. But I basically posted that to show people like this is what you can possibly experience if you're creating content or you put yourself out there. There's always going to be somebody negative that has something to say, but you can't let that negative thing affect you and your content and your work.
Yeah, I told you the other day, I was like, you're making it. It's a good sign. I mean, that dude probably has no life. He just plays video games all day.
Yeah.
Just doesn't do it with his life. And you're out there creating content, doing well, being successful. I think that's a big a big indictment on him. Is he's just probably jealous of you.
Yeah.
To be honest, he probably wanted to do something similar, and you did it, and you're balling, and he's stuck doing what?
Yeah.
Not doing anything. But I freaking loved your attitude towards it.
Yeah.
I thought that was super.
And my thing is okay, if you're going to make fun of somebody, like, let me be real. Me and you, how do I put this? If you're going to make fun of somebody, you got to do it good. You got to make it really hurt. You got to make it make sense. But this guy, his spelling was all off. The way his pronunciation, the way he was saying things, he just was a joke. Like, come on, you if you're going to make fun of somebody, and I don't condone bullying of any sorts, but everybody's eventually going to get bullied in their life. It's just part of growing up. But when we used to roast each other at the lunch table, it's like, we're having fun, but we're going to make it good. And this guy, he sent a long email. He created an email account just to send me that email. And this guy, what he did that I thought was really funny is he gave me a compliment. He said, well, you seem like you know a lot about style, but your nose and your glasses and all that kind of stuff. Don't give a person compliment if you're making fun of them. It was just a mess.
Maybe he was drunk or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Or he's just crazy.
Yeah.
Because it literally does not make any sense.
Yeah.
But I showed my you sent me it, and you sent a bunch of laughing emojis, and I showed my mom, and like if I got that, something similar to that, I mean, I'd probably laugh too. But my mom thought it was like the worst thing ever. My mom was so mad. She was like, you need to tell him to report him to something. And I was like, what was he going to report him to?
Yeah.
I was like, he's not going to. I was like, Robert's is strong. He can take care of himself. He's all
right. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that deep. So.
Yeah. But I think it's mentally weak people that kind of attack people.
Yeah. And, I feel like a lot of the negative people in the world, they have insecurities and stuff that they're dealing with. And so they try to, when they make fun of people or they send messages like that, they try to project it on other people. And I think that's basically what the situation was with that guy. Maybe he does all the stuff that he talked about in that video, but he saw a person that was doing good and he wanted to project that on them, which that doesn't work on me. So,
yeah. And I think that's a very valuable trait, to not let anyone affect your mental state. But one thing I wanted to talk about was why do people like creators like us, or musicians, or athletes, or someone of that nature, why they get so much hate? And I think it does boil down to a lot of jealousy and insecurities, because people that I forget what the stat was, but I did see a stat where like the vast majority of people who are bullies, quote unquote bullies, are going through something at home that makes them insecure, like you alluded to. So then they're just going to attack everyone else. And I think that people who create content, or athletes or musicians or anyone of that nature, are just, I mean, it gets you're like, how should I put this?
I think that, go ahead.
So like if I commented on LeBron James's picture, I said, you fucking suck, whatever the case is, that just gets lost. It's just another comment. Yeah. But I let my anger out somehow. So I think that that's what a lot of people do. They're like, oh, I won't have any repercussions because of this.
Yeah. Most cases, I don't think that they do, but I think the reason why like content creators, people in the public get hate is because we're really easy targets. We put ourselves out there. And so I always tell people before they think about doing something like this is, if you put yourself out there, people, they're going to make fun of you. They're going to have things to say, but they're going to look in your closet. And so you got to make sure that there's nothing out there that is going to come out and make you look crazy, like Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein. You don't want to have things that you've done in the past that are negative that will eventually come out and ruin your reputation. And so that's why I try to keep a clean slate. It's like, don't do anything, don't break any rules or laws, because that stuff will eventually come out and people will figure out, and that's going to judge your character. So, and it's also one more thing. When you have those kind of things, it judges your artwork too. Like me and you put out artwork. R. Kelly puts out artwork, but as good as his music may be, and as much as I still love it, he's a horrible person. And so that's one thing that you have to think about is, okay, what you do, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to separate the art from the artist.
I agree with that. When I got into college, and then really when I started this podcast, I kind of realized that, because we're still in the midst of the Me Too movement and all that, like outrage culture, all that nonsense. And so I went through all my Twitter and Instagram to make sure I didn't say anything stupid on there. And I didn't have anything, because I don't really say anything on Twitter I use Twitter for news, and then I retweet something by the Knicks or the Yankees or something about MMA, mostly stuff. But I forget who it was, but someone got drafted in the NFL draft. I think it was Jerry Jeudy, and they were going through all of his tweets, and he was just tweeting ignorant stuff back in like 2012.
Yeah,
and people were getting all riled up about it. Some of them were funny and they like weren't offensive, and then he tweeted some that were kind of offensive, and that happened with a couple MLB players. They said some racial slurs, and nothing really came of it, because they said it when they were like 16, but you still need to even though you've grown, you need to go back and make sure that you delete those things, because I don't think that if you say something dumb when you're 16 and you're 23 now, like you grow so much over that time span that's not indicative of who you are today.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I was going to think of an example like Justin Bieber. Like there was a video where he said the N word or something like 10 years ago. And now, he's older and he doesn't do that kind of stuff. He's like turned his life around. And, but yeah, I agree with that. I think you can't judge a person for stuff they put out, years ago, but still that person should realize that, okay, I have stuff out there that I need to clean up. Because if this comes out, that could hurt my reputation, even though I'm still not that same person.
Yeah. I think I'm lucky in that respect that my parents taught me well. So yeah. I don't really, I'm a fairly quiet person. I don't put anything outrageous on the internet. I never have. I really never will. Like I considered deleting, when I was talking to Ryan, we talked about Joe Biden and his mental state. Cause I think he has early onset of dementia. So yeah. I made a clip and I said, Joe Biden has dementia. He cannot be president. And I was like kind of iffy on that. And that's not like I didn't watch the video. I didn't say anything bad. I wasn't being negative towards him. I was just saying like this dude is like unfit to be president. Not that anyone else is fit to be president that's running. But I don't know. Like I don't know. I got lucky in that respect.
Yeah.
My parents raised me right to respect people and not attack people on the internet and say dumb things.
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of learned to just avoid like politics as a whole online because, people they're sensitive. They get angry very quickly. And, when you're behind a screen, people, they think they're big and strong. So, I just decided to avoid all that as a whole.
Yeah, I'm not huge into politics, but I wanted to get into it just for that episode because Bernie Sanders had just dropped out, so I wanted to address it. Got on some other team. I don't get the whole thing with politics about people arguing. Like at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. No matter where you're from in the United States, we're on the same team. We all want to be happy. We all want to make money.
Yeah.
So, that I never really get engaged in Twitter battle. I see a lot of Twitter battles.
Yeah.
About politics, and I just stay out of it. It's just like it's not worth it to me. Because then a lot of people on the extreme ends of the spectrum, they just have they don't reason with the other side. Like if you're on the other side, you're automatically bad. And I think that's a horrible outlook on things. But yeah, we do need to. Everyone needs to be careful about what they put on social media. Just not just because of creating content, but also because of getting a job in the future.
Yep, I agree.
Speaking of that, do you have any career paths, or do you want to work for yourself?
So, so when I'm not doing this, before the virus, I had a job at the Boys and Girls Club. That was fun. Just having, a part-time job working with the kids. I like working with them. They're very funny. They're very bright and entertaining. And so it's a fun job. And I figure if you're going to work a job, it's got to be something that you think is fun. And also, I have a side business where I edit videos for companies and individuals. So that brings in a little bit of extra money as well. But yeah, those are the main thing that I'd like to do is do videos for other people. And then, of course, run my own YouTube channel. So that's my career goal.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I'm not really sure what the hell I want to do with my life. I've changed my major 2 times. I think I want to work for myself at some point, but I write for a Purdue sports blog. It's part of Vox Media, and I like doing that. I don't get paid a whole lot, but starting out, so it's kind of like Barstool. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like Barstool. So Purdue has their own SB Nation account, and then Indiana University, Butler, the Colts, the Pacers, all that type of stuff. and there's like 11 people that are employed for the Purdue section, and I'm the youngest by 10 years.
Wow.
So, I mean that's a lot of people that do it as like a side job though, just for extra
Hmm.
cash. But it is good for me to get my foot in the door with covering media, because at the end of the day, I mean, the main goal is to work for ESPN or Fox Sports or one of those big companies. So
Yeah.
if I'm able to do that, then I mean that would be a dream come true, because you just go to sporting events or go chill in the Sports Center
Yeah.
set, talk about sports. I mean, and you get paid for it.
Yeah.
That's a dream for a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you're not playing sports, obviously, but
Yeah. Like the guys on Inside the NBA, like Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley and them, like that's a fun job. Just going, watching sports, talking about it, getting paid to joke around.
yeah.
That's the best kind of work.
Hmm. And I really like how other shows have kind of adopted their silliness, because
Hmm.
their show pretty, like they have serious moments, but it is mostly pretty silly, and they still talk about the sports in depth. And I
Yeah.
think that's what a lot of people want. A lot of people don't want the whole serious thing about whatever. I mean, I used to like First Take, but I just can't watch it anymore. It's just a
Hmm.
rerun and rerun and rerun and rerun of the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't know if are you a fan of First Take?
That's with Stephen A. Smith, right? I mean, I watch the clips every once in a while. Like, they've had this whole The Last Dance thing
Mm-hmm.
that's been out, and so I've been following that, and I watch their clips or Skip Bayless over on Fox. I watch them and just see what they think about it. But I only watch short clips. I don't ever watch a full show. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people do. Most people don't watch TV. Um, I think TV is kind of a dying art form in
Mm-hmm.
general, and so I watch the clips. I think it's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, sometimes it is, and then sometimes, like if you watch the whole show, you just get bored, because they'll address something in the first hour and they'll address the exact same thing. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? But touch on the Jordan documentary. What have you watched the first 4 episodes?
I watched the first two, and then the third and fourth one, I really kind of just like had it on in the background. I was doing some other stuff, and I think it's a good documentary. I think it's a good show. I kind of feel like that he put this out in order to make himself to remind people that he is the greatest of all time. I mean, I think there's been a lot of players that are statistically better than Michael Jordan, um, but old heads they like to
Yeah.
just Jordan. You should have saw him play and all that kind of stuff. It's like, well, there were guys that averaged 30 points, 20 rebounds by the name of Wilt Chamberlain, and they say, oh well, that was a different decade, and I'm like, okay, so. And I mean, if you ask me, I think Jordan played in a less athletic uh, generation. I think the guys today are way more athletic
For sure.
than Bill Dumars and Kevin McHale and Larry Bird. I mean, they're good players, but um, I don't know. I think the greatest player of all time is probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he has 6 rings. He's the leading scorer. He's got like 20,000 rebounds. He's got more assists than Michael Jordan. So I mean, it's like statistically and awards wise, he's just as good.
Hmm.
But the media wants Michael Jordan to be the greatest, and so that's why a lot of people consider him the greatest.
Hmm. I just think it was kind of that aura of winning, going 6 for 6 in the finals.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it. Because I think if LeBron went 6 for 6 in the finals, it wouldn't even be a discussion. LeBron
No.
would go. And I don't know. I flip back and forth on who I think it is. But I kind of lean with LeBron just because I'm a fan of him.
Hmm.
And I never really got to see Michael play. I feel like if I saw Jordan play, I'd probably think he was. It's just like you alluded to, the old heads.
Hmm.
Um,
I've seen footage. I've seen footage of all these guys, and I mean, I don't know. I think LeBron's better than Jordan. I think he's better statistically. He's a better overall player, but people, they're not going to, they just don't want to give it to him because he's lost in the finals however many times, even though he's been in the finals like 10 years. It still doesn't matter. So,
yeah. So I don't know if you've seen, but the late great Kobe Bryant is going to appear by the time this episode comes out of my podcast. This will have premiered. But what do you think about them having Kobe on the documentary?
Well, so because you had sent me the thing with the questions, and I looked up the 5th or 6th episode, whichever one is going to be for Kobe, and they said that they interviewed him last June or whatever. So that was all this was probably done before he died, and so I just think it's really sad. I never thought that Kobe would be the guy that died this young. Me being a Laker fan, him being my favorite player, that's when I remember when I got the news. I was taking a nap, and my friend Spencer texted me and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, man." And I said, "Sorry about what?" And then my uncle called me and said that Kobe died in a helicopter crash, and I don't know. It was a sad day. But you never know when your time is, and so you got to live life to the fullest. And I think that in the 40 years that he was alive, he did everything that he could have done. He did more than what a lot of people who live to their 70s, 80s, and 90s do. So,
for sure. When I got the news, I was sitting in my room at school, and I had one of my friends was in my room, and Pat McAfee tweeted, "If this Kobe news is real, this is devastating or tragic," or something along those lines. I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And then I refreshed it, and it was just all Kobe. The entire day, I don't know if I saw one tweet that wasn't about Kobe. And I was like, this dude, I didn't think this dude was that big. Like, I knew he was big in the sports world, but to see that, I've never seen that much like outpouring support for family after they've passed.
Yeah. I mean, he was I think Kobe was the closest thing that we've ever seen towards Michael Jordan. And I know we're going back to Michael Jordan, and he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. Jordan's a great player. But most people think that Michael's the greatest, and Kobe was the second thing. People, when they think of the greatest, they think Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, then LeBron, or whoever else after that. So that was a big thing. It's like think of it as the second biggest basketball player to ever live died. That's the way I think about it. And it's really sad.
Yeah. Hopefully they do something special for him on this episode. But all right, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Told you for almost an hour. Thank you so much for doing this. It was really fun. I thought it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your social media accounts?
Yeah. So my YouTube channel is youtube.com/GentStyle. Instagram is Real Robert Jones. Twitter is like GentStyle2. And then there's a Facebook page. Just type in GentStyle, and that's where you can find me.
All right. All that will be in the description of this video or audio version if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you, brother. Stay safe out there.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too.